Hello everyone, welcome to my new video series. I thought it would be a good idea, instead of trying to schedule a time for everybody to come and meet, to do a video where you can watch it anytime you want to. These are going to come out weekly, so each week is going to have a different focus. Now our overall topic is vocabulary. I was going to move on to something else at the end of October, but after talking with some teachers, we realized that we should probably stick with vocabulary for a little bit. That way we can implement the Anita Archer protocol and make sure we're doing vocabulary instruction to the best of our ability. So this week's focus is going to be on examples and non-examples. So let's get started. There are three types of examples that you should be trying to put into your lessons. The first one is concrete. These are examples that you could see or touch in person. So maybe you need to bring in an apple for the word crunchy. Anything that you can have your students physically touch. Some words may not have concrete examples, and that's okay. If you have to skip concrete examples for some words, that's fine. The next one is verbal examples, and these are examples that use the word in context or in a sentence. I give you at least 3 examples on the back of your card, but of course you can come up with your own verbal examples as well. If you have older students like 2nd and 3rd grade, I recommend using something called close reading, which means they read along silently in their head with you, but when you stop, they say the next word. The last example is visual, and this example is using a picture or a video to show your word's meaning. In the presentation, I give you a bunch of examples for pictures. If your grade level is not using the presentation and you would like to, let me know and we can work something out. Of course, on everybody's cards, you do have a visual right there on the front of the card that you can show your students. Open Course also has visual vocabulary that you can use as well. All right, so let's talk about where these examples are on your card location. They are on the back side of your card. They're under the heading of examples. There are always 3 given, but of course you can add to that as well. If you have more examples or want to keep playing the example game, then feel free. There will always be 2 good examples or positive examples and 1 non or negative example. I like to switch them up during my presentation so students aren't relying on the pattern, but are rather listening and seeing which ones are true examples and which ones are non. Make sure you're beefing up your examples too. Don't just read off the card. For example, this is the word magnificent. I wouldn't say an Eiffel Tower or a rainbow in the sky. I'd give some context behind it. So let's look at this word, lend. In this word, we have 2 good positive examples, a librarian lending books and letting someone borrow a pencil. For the first example, I would talk about the routines that the kids do at the school library to get books. Involve the student in your example. Maybe call on someone to tell the routine for a library and how they get books. Build that context around your story or example. For the second one, ask for a show of hands who has borrowed or has let someone borrow a pencil of theirs. Get them involved. Next, it's okay for non-examples to be silly. Sometimes this is the most fun part of the lesson. Maybe you're talking about silly things, like a giraffe wearing a party hat. It's okay for the kids to laugh and have fun with the non-example. Whenever possible, try to make your example and your non-example be closely aligned. This is going to help your student pay attention to the characteristics of the word. Here's an example of a very similar non-example for the word refuse. So in my first example, I have not eating your vegetables at dinner no matter how much you're asked. My second example is not taking your medicine even after being bribed with candy. Both of those are positive examples for refuse. But my third one is a non-example, and see how similar it is. Not wanting to eat your grapes, but eating them because mom said so. So this one is not a good example for refuse because the child ended up eating the grapes. The other two, the child did not eat or take medicine. They're very similar, and the child has to pay attention to what is being said. Next, make sure you're engaging your audience with choral responses. These can be verbal or nonverbal. I gave you 5 examples here in case you didn't know where to start. First, you can do your thumbs up, thumbs down. And this is to show if it's a good, positive example or if it's a non-example. You could have the students stand up or sit down. You can have your students show by putting their hands on their head or by putting their hands on their shoulders. You could do a silent yes or no, or you could even say the word yes or no. Finally, you could do a silly one like eyebrows up or eyebrows down to show if it's an example or a non-example. Make sure you're shooting for 3 to 5 opportunities per minute for your students to respond. These can be choral, they can be silent like this, but 3 to 5 opportunities for your students to engage with you. Here's a quote from Anita Archer that says why it's important to get responses from students. So it says, it contributes to a positive learning environment by increasing engagement, increasing on-task behavior, increasing accountability, promoting desired behaviors, reducing inappropriate behaviors, and keeping the class moving along. If you'd like some more information about explicit instruction, which is the type of instruction we're doing here with Anita Archer's protocol, then let me know. I have an entire book on it, and I attended the Anita Archer workshop over the summer to learn about explicit instruction. Here's Anita Archer, and she is going to show you a vocabulary routine for 2nd grade. Now, she does a pretty short version, so I'm just going to show you the examples and non-examples. The first thing she does is she breaks the word into parts and then has the students repeat the sounds of the word with her. That's to make sure the students are pronouncing the word correctly. Then she's going to give the definition, and then finally she's going to talk about examples and non-examples. Now we're only going to watch about 2 minutes of this video.
Now, there are some words in this story that I would really like us to learn because we could use them all of the time. And this word is, let's read it by parts. The first part is con. What part, everyone? Con, and use the sound s. And the next part is sen. And the last part is trait. And say it really fast, everyone. Concentrate. One more time, everyone. Concentrate. One more time. Concentrate. Now, you remember in the story that some of the animals couldn't, what, everyone? Concentrate when the wolf was reading. Now, the word concentrate means that you are able to really think about something. You're able to put all of your attention on it. So when I really think about something and put all of my attention on it, I concentrate. What do, everyone? I concentrate. For example, if...
Before she moves on, I want to bring your attention to how many times she had those students interacting with her. It didn't matter that they were saying the word concentrate 4 times. Every time, all of the students were engaging with her, and she was prompting that by saying, everyone, and then they responded with her. So now she's going to talk about examples and non-examples.
If you were doing your math and you did one problem and then the next problem, and never looked up when someone came in the room, we would say that she knows how to, what, everyone? Concentrate. If you came to the library and sat down and you took out a book and you just read and read, even though he came over and she walked around you, we'd say, oh, Boy, you are able to put your thinking on it. You're able to put your attention on it. She knows how to, what, everyone? Concentrate. Get ready.
So here you see that she's beefing up her examples. I'm sure on that paper that she's holding right there, she has those two examples written out in shorthand for her to remember what to do. But she's giving more information to the students so they're really making a picture in their mind and know what's happening. Now she's going to do a non-example.
To tell me if this person in the pretend story knows how to concentrate. So you are reading in class, and you just read, and you turn the page, and you read some more, and you read some more, and you read some more, and you just keep reading. Does she know how to concentrate? Yes or no, everyone? Yes, okay? And this is pretend, because it would never happen. So you start reading a page, and then you look up at the clock, and then you look down, and then you talk over with your friends, and you look back at the book. Does she know how to concentrate? Yes or no? She really does. That was just a pretend story. So once again, what is our word, everyone? Concentrate. Well, let's look at our next word.
And then she continues on and she does two more words after that. Well, we don't want to watch it again. All right. So that was a quick video just to focus on what I am focusing on this week, which is examples and non-examples. As I'm coming into your classrooms this week, I'm going to be looking at that during your vocabulary routine. Of course, if you have questions, comments, or you want to learn more, let me know. You can email me. You can schedule a chat time. We can schedule an actual meeting. I can come in the morning. I can come during your plan, whenever works. I have some great articles that talk about vocabulary. I also have the letters manual that has a whole chapter on vocabulary. So I'm ready to share if you want to learn more. I think that wraps it up for me. Thank you for being attentive and watching this video.